Hola guys, welcome again in this video. We are going to see a lot of things now, but they are all theoretical concepts. So the video is going to be a bit long, but keep going. Watch the video until the end because it's very important to understand how QR code works before we jump into the code with Python. So it's very important. We are going to look at the anatomy of a QR code. We are going to look at how makers are positioned and how to detect makers. That is very important to understand before jumping into the code with Python. So let's go guys, let's see this. I'll add a link in the description just in case if you prefer to read. What is QR code and how does it work? The quick response or QR code is a two-dimensional version of the barcode able to convey a wide variety of information almost instantly with the scan of a mobile device. Able to store up to 7,089 digits or 4,296 characters, including punctuation marks and special characters. The code can equally encode words and phrases such as internet addresses. One thing to always keep in mind, especially when it comes to designing the static QR code aesthetic, is that the more data is added, the more the size increase and its structure become more complex. Even when damaged, the QR code structure data keys include duplications. It is thanks to these redundancies that allow up to 30% of the code structure to take damage without affecting its readability on scanners. The QR code, a brief story. In 1994, Denso Wave, a subsidiary manufacturing company, required a better, faster, stronger technology to the barcode to process higher amounts of characters and to aid them in tracking vehicles and parts. Masahiro Hara, with a team of two, undertook the task to developing what we know now and recognize as the QR code. Some of the most challenging problems of Hara and his team were figuring out a way to make 2D code read as fast as possible while preventing false recognition once the shape of the position detection pattern was added. It needed to be unique, which means the development team spent the better part of a year doing a survey of the white to black areas ratio after reducing them to pattern on printed material. The results? They identifies the ideal ratio as 1:1:3:1:1. By identifying this number, they were able to determine the black and white areas in the position detection pattern, which enabled the code to be detected regardless of the scanning angle. In short, this unique ratio simply means you could scan it from up, down, left, or right. Though the initially targeted field for QR code use was the manufacturing industry, with the rise of smartphone use and the fact that it remained without a patent mean it became an open source technology available to anyone and everyone. You can now find QR codes stylishly delivering great amount of information and redefining the print to digital marketing scene. The anatomy of a QR code. It is the 90s and you have just ejected your video cassette, leaving the square TV screen in a state of static white noise. Visually, that is what comes to mind when some people look at the QR code. A complex matrix of blacks and white squares, thought looking like a pixelated image. Each one of those squares is actually a marker serving a greater function in the information sharing capabilities of the code. Position detection markers. Located at three corners of each code, it allows a scanner to accurately recognize the code and read it at high speed, while indicating the direction in which the code is printed. They essentially help quickly identify the presence of a QR code in an image and its orientation. Alignment markings. Smaller than the position detection markers, they help straighten out QR code drawn on a curved surface, and the more information a code stores, the larger it is and the more alignment pattern it requires. Timing, pattern. Alternating black-white module on the QR code with the idea of accurately helping configure the data grid. Using these lines, the scanner determines how large the data matrix is. Version information. With currently 40 different QR code versions, these markers specify the one that is being used. The most common ones are version 1 to 7. Format information. The format pattern contains the information about the error tolerance and the data mask pattern and make it easier to scan the code. Data and error correction keys. The error correction mechanism inherent in the QR code structure is where all your data is contained, also sharing the space with the error correction block that allow up to 30% of the code to be damaged. Quiet zone. This is similar to the importance of white space in design. That is, it offers structure and improved comprehension for whom or what you may ask. For the scanning program, in order to distinguish the QR code from its surroundings, the quiet zone is vital. What is a static and dynamic QR code? Static QR code. A static QR code contains information that is fixed and uneditable. Once the code has been generated, they are great for personal use and for QR code API. A key to creating large batches of code for employee IDs, event badges, technical product documentation, and much more. On the other hand, and because of their fixed nature, they are not ideal for businesses or marketing campaigns, as static codes do not track metrics or allow for editing post-creation. Dynamic QR code. On the other hand, dynamic QR codes allow you to update, edit and change the type of the QR code however many times you need, which makes them the best fit for businesses and marketing purpose. As we mentioned earlier, when explaining the QR code basics, the more information you input into a static QR code, the bigger and more complex the structure becomes. For a dynamic code, however, the content you present to scanner, it is not directly contained in the code, but instead has a short redirection URL assigned to it. That means the code remains small and is easier to integrate into your print material and packaging design. Capturing and measuring your advertising statistic each time dynamic code is scanned is perhaps the best feature for optimizing marketing campaigns. You can have access to when, where, and with what device a scan took place. You can add campaign info like medium, start and end date, print, run, and you can even reset scans and download results as a CSV report.